Hi, welcome back to Nawnies Place, and welcome to you if you're stopping by for the first time. I was going throughout the day today, doing some errands, and a thought came to my mind that kind of hit me, it tugged at me. It was a little bit of a caution that tugged at me. It was like it was in a pit of my stomach. And this thought in particular was what I would say was an inner voice. Now, I believe that we all have an inner voice. Whether we listen to it or not, we all have that inner voice. Sometimes with this inner voice, when it comes to women, they call it women's intuition. I believe that it's the Holy Spirit. I believe that it's God that's talking to us. As that came to mind, I was like, God, why do we have those tugs? Why do we have those cautions? In particular, I asked God for me, why did I have that caution or that reaction when it came to a particular thing? For example, I can remember when I used to move to a different city or a different state and I was looking for a new church. I would go into the building or I'd attend the services, and sometimes I would feel very at home, very welcome. And then there was other times if I attended a church, I would feel like, well, okay, maybe it's not for me. But I always try to give everything that I do or every place that I go into, especially a church, I try to give it the benefit of the doubt, so to speak. Because sometimes it could be just us. It doesn't have to be what's in the atmosphere of the church. But I do believe that God gives us that inner voice, that caution sometimes to say, well, just keep your eyes open. So I can remember times that I've gone into a church and I wanted to see if this was going to be the church that I would be attending all the time with the possibility of maybe becoming a member of the church. I would sit and go, to different services, and there would be sometimes that as I had been there for a while, let's say a couple of months, there was certain things that I said, well, I don't think this is for me. It's not that they were doing anything bad. It was just that I always wanted to make sure that I wasn't going to be in that church and possibly being like, sometimes in my heart feeling like, wow, I don't really agree with that. But sometimes I would just wait it out. I would try to ask God and search and see if it could be me, that I'm just really not receiving it for some reason or another. But there was that caution, or there was just that little bit of a tug. So we don't want to ignore it. We want to pay attention to it because, like I said, I believe it's the Holy Spirit sometimes just making us aware or allowing us to wake up to certain things, or just to be mindful, just to take note. So let me just stop and encourage you right now to take heed to that inner voice. Pay attention to it. Sometimes God is allowing us to see these things so we don't end up getting hurt or damaged. He wants us to avoid that in some situations. I believe also that this happens with people. When we meet people and we feel a little tug or we feel a little caution in our spirit, it's okay to pay attention to that, because it could be something that maybe you and that person or persons don't quite gel. And it doesn't have to be that there's something wrong with you or there's something wrong with that person. It just means that you can kind of see that you and that person may not be suited for each other. So let's face it, we're not always going to be for one another. We're all individuals. We're all different people. The inner voice could be several different things. It's our sensory. It can also be called a gut feeling. You feel it in your gut because that's where your spirit is. It's in your belly. And sometimes that stirs up or tugs or pokes, or however you want to say it, to let us know about something in particular, or to make us cautious about something or someone. Again, it's that inner voice. In John 14, John talks about Jesus giving us the promise of the Holy Spirit. In verse 17, it states, "Even the Spirit of truth, whom the world cannot receive because it neither sees him nor knows him, you know him, for he dwells with you and in you." So that inner voice, we as believers, that inner voice is the Holy Spirit. So let's be mindful of that inner voice. Let's pay attention that when we feel that caution, that tug, or that intuition, take heed to it. Pay attention to it. He's talking to us. He can guide us and then tell us what we're supposed to do. So I believe what he was telling me today, in particular for me, is that remember, be reminded to pay attention to the inner voice, the Holy Spirit, that whenever you feel that tug or whenever you feel that caution, pay attention to it and then come to me and ask me, why am I feeling this? What am I supposed to do about what I'm feeling? Am I supposed to pray about it? Am I supposed to go forward and just stay there? Or am I supposed to run? It's okay to run. Well, that's all I have for today. Thank you for stopping by, and thank you for listening. And remember to like and subscribe to the channel, and remember to share, because when you share, you encourage someone else. Have a wonderful day. Bye.